We slow things down in today's Rail Ramblin'.
Down, little baby, little bitty boy, y'all.
Hey everyone, it's Matt. I am back and I've got a quick video for you today. This is kind of a test video actually. I got a new camera and audio recording device, and so I wanted to check out how that sounds. Now that the railroad is starting to kind of really move along, I got engines running on the thing now, I've got track being laid down. I want to bring it to you in as nice a picture quality as possible. And I want it to sound as good as possible, and my iPhone was just not cutting it. I am also not quite ready to record an update video on the layout itself. I know for those of you who only follow me on YouTube, you may be wondering what it looks like right now. If you've been following me on Instagram, you've seen a lot of it, a lot of the construction. You've seen trains running. You've seen where I am at right now with track and roadbed and all that good stuff. I just haven't. I've been moving at a really good clip, and I haven't wanted to slow down and take the time to record a big long video and then edit it all down and everything I need to do. I've got a good head of steam, and so I wanted to keep moving. So I'm moving fast, and I may be moving too fast, and that's what I want to talk about today. This video is kind of a reminder to myself and to maybe all of you as well to slow things down just a little bit. What happened was I was laying track, and I was really excited. I had a goal I set for myself. I wanted to get a train running by the end of the weekend. So I needed to get roadbed laid down. I needed to get track laid down. I needed to wire it up, get the DCC system working, get it running. So I moved very quickly in order to make that happen. And I got about 6 feet of track wired up and got an engine running on it. And then from there I kind of moved on. I worked my way over to one of my swing gates and started working on the track there and wiring stuff up. And I was moving too fast, and I was making mistakes. The track itself wasn't aligned nicely. You know how like some flex track can kind of kink and bend a little bit and go down a little weird. Microengineering track being like that because the flex track doesn't want to recenter itself. It kind of, if you're not careful, it can kind of be a little wobbly. That was happening. At joints, I was not cutting the rail nicely so that it wasn't flush at the joints. There was space there, and you want a little bit of space anyway for expansion and that kind of thing. But there was, like, in some cases, quite a bit of space. It was one of those things where it would have been fine to have left it. The trains would have run. I don't think anything would have derailed, but you've seen trains run across kind of a big gap, and you get the little wobble of the train car, right? And, this layout is supposedly going to last me for, maybe a couple of decades, maybe longer, who knows. And, if I would have just left it as it was, every time that train ran over that rail and the boxcar wobbled a little bit, I'd be reminded of the time I didn't go back and fix it. So I didn't want to do that. So I decided to go back and fix it. And in doing so, ripped up about half the track that I had already laid down for myself. And that's pretty significant. Half the track getting ripped up was not something I wanted to do, but was necessary because I was just moving too fast. I wasn't taking my time. I wasn't measuring properly. I wasn't sighting my track properly, making sure that things were lining up nicely, making sure my curves were correct and lined up nicely, making sure that everything was trimmed nicely so I was getting nice joints between pieces of flex track or flex track and switch turnouts. And if I just slow down a little bit more, be a little more careful, yeah, it's going to take a little bit longer for me to get the track laid out, but it's going to be nicer in the long run. It's going to look better. It's going to behave better. the trains are going to operate on it much nicer. And believe me, like really nice, clean track work is really important to getting the most out of model railroading. On my previous layout, was a little fast laying down that track as well, and I made a few mistakes, and it led to problems later on. And I don't want those problems showing up on this layout. So I need to slow down, and I would encourage you to slow down a little bit, especially when it comes to track work. A lot of stuff you can redo. Scenery you can redo. Bench work doesn't need to be necessarily perfect for it to work right. Track work, I mean, this is what your trains are rolling across, right? The tolerances are very tight on those things, and they're tight for a reason. These are small models, and we're asking them to do pretty mechanically interesting things with them, So, I've seen on Facebook groups and on YouTube and other places where it looks like the people who were laying down their track work could have benefited from a little bit more time and patience. And if they didn't get it right the first time, they should, go back and fix it, right? Before it gets to the point of ballast and scenery and all that other stuff, when it's just bare track, bare unpainted, unweathered track on plywood, and you notice a problem and you're not happy with it, now's the time to fix it, right? Okay, so that's it for this episode of Rail Rambling. I am starting to ramble myself, so it's time to cut it short. Hopefully you got something out of that. I know I did. I think it's important for me to remind myself that this is not a race. It's a marathon, This is going to be something that's going to take years of my life to complete anyway. So I might as well slow down and enjoy it and reap the benefits of slowing down a little bit. All right, guys. Thanks a lot for checking out this video. Look for an update video soon. As soon as I make sure this camera and this microphone and everything works out great, I'm going to get that update video on the layout itself going so you can kind of see where things are, and I'm excited to show you. Thanks again, guys. I will see you next time.
Coming home now, baby. Coming home now, baby.